convinced that taking a Sabbath is a good idea. Well, how do you actually do it? Well, let me encourage you, it takes a lot of intentionality. So let's just get that out there. You've got to be you got to put some forethought into it, like really sit down with a calendar on any given week and figure out when you're going to be able to do this. When I say Sabbath, I mean a 24-hour period that is uninterrupted. So that can be like a Friday night to a Saturday night. That can be a Thursday afternoon to a Friday afternoon, whatever that looks like in your life. There have been seasons in my life when it's different. Right now, it's generally Saturdays because that's been working out, but it's not always Saturdays. Sometimes I have to move my schedule around a little bit. Sometimes it can be one full day. Sometimes I have to do bits and pieces of a day, but it's always 24 hours of uninterrupted rest and relaxation, not work. Anything that can be considered work, even if it's a book that's sort of work related, it's not something that I'm going to be doing on my Sabbath. So what do you do? How do you fill that time? Well, I'm going to give you a couple clips from this past Saturday, which was the last Sabbath that I made, and then I'm going to talk you through just some other suggestions for what that might look like in your life. Okay, so when I get to have a Sabbath on a Saturday, it usually begins by making some kind of pancakes or waffles with my kids. And so say hi to Caleb. Can you say hi, Caleb? Hi. Can you tell him what we're making?
We're making pancakes.
We're making pancakes, yeah. So Saturday Sabbaths are a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoy a good breakfast and kind of like cooking stuff. So Saturdays we actually get some extra time where we don't have to rush through a meal and have everything ready in 30 minutes. So the whole process, start to finish this morning, took about 2.5 hours. I even got to sit down and have an extra cup of coffee with my wife over breakfast. And so now starting to get ready to do a little bit of a workout, which again, I can take a little bit more time to do as opposed to a busy day during the week. So we don't want to be really legalistic with our Sabbath observance. We want it to be things that we enjoy, things that renew us, things that refresh us, things that give us an opportunity to revive our spirits, just to put ourselves in a good mood. You know, I'm a big foodie, so the first thing I do with my kids is we made pancakes, and they were cinnamon roll pancakes, and they were really great. And so then we sat around and took a lot of time. Generally speaking, breakfast in my house, we try to get it over and done in about 20 minutes. That whole process took us about 2 hours. We involved the kids with every part of it. And then we just kind of sat around and hung out and read some books for a little bit. Went outside, did some exercise, took a walk around the neighborhood, came back in. Everybody laid down and rested for a little bit. And then we watched a movie. The new Phineas and Ferb movie was out this past weekend, and everybody in my family loves Phineas and Ferb. So we watched Phineas and Ferb together on our Sabbath. In your life, the rhythms and patterns might look a little bit different. You know, you might intentionally pursue community. I've had students who graduate and move on, and it's really hard for them to make connections with people. And so what I recommend for them on their Sabbath is just block out 2 hours to make phone calls and send text messages. If you need that sort of relational connection, your Sabbath is a great time to pursue that. Take some intentional time to get alone with the Lord. Let your quiet time stretch out a little bit longer. Take some mini breaks during the day where you just get a pen and paper and go sit and say, God, I'm listening, and practice silence. Anything that renews and revives your soul is fair game on the Sabbath. I try not to put a whole lot of rules and regulations on it because that's not the point. If you'll remember from the teaching, that was the point at which Jesus really conflicted with the religious leaders, was when they tried to define everything. So I'm not going to define it for you. I'm just saying if it relates to work, whatever that might be, and you're a student, so I consider homework and studying work. So take 24 hours and don't do it. And don't try to tell me that it's not possible as a student. I started practicing a Sabbath as a seminary student when I was taking 15 hours of graduate studies, reading a couple hundred pages a week, writing book reviews, working 30 hours a week, working a full-time job, and being married. I found a way to observe a Sabbath in that season. You can find a way to observe a Sabbath in the season of life in which you're in right now as a college student, but you got to put in the work and you've got to dedicate the time. So my recommendation right now, stop, go look at your calendar, find a time in the next 7 days that you can block off, and then protect it at all costs. Do whatever you have to do. For me, when I was a student, it meant I had a cutoff time, I was done, and then the next day I got up really early and did a lot of my work. And I found that in doing that, I was way more productive. I could get more done in about 5 hours than I could in generally about 3 days, because my mind was renewed and refreshed. It seems like God knows a little bit about the best way for our bodies and our minds to function by saying, take some rest, right? So I think if you do it, you're going to find a lot of great benefits that you didn't even anticipate outside of the benefits that you're going to reap in your spiritual life.